Hi everyone, I'm back with another foundation, and this happens to be one of the foundations that I use all the time, and it's the Alima Pure Satin Matte Loose Mineral Foundation. Now I know that there are those of you out there who think that mature women cannot wear mineral foundations because, they cake up, they settle in fine lines, they do all these things that they promise they won't do. But I have had this foundation for about 4 months. I've been working with this, and the first 3 were a challenge, but I kept with it because I really liked the finish, that satin finish. It just looks very glowy. Well, I'm wearing it right now, so it just looks really, really pretty on the face. So I'm going to cut away in a second and show you how I finally figured out how to apply it so that it doesn't cake up or sit in fine lines. But before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about the product and the company of Alima Pure, because I love what this company stands for and I love what they are doing in the makeup world. So Alima Pure's products are very, very, very pure. Their ingredients are natural, non-toxic, very simple ingredients. They have a full makeup line. In fact, I'm wearing one of their blush colors right now in Honey Rose. They offer pressed powders, pressed foundations, as well as loose mineral foundations, as well as bronzers and setting powders and eye makeup and lipstick and even eye products like mascara and eyebrow pencils. So they have a full makeup line. The Satin Matte Foundation is $28, and they also have a pressed foundation, which is about $34 if you buy it in its original case, and you can also get refills and save yourself a little money there. And so they are, price-wise, they are in the mid-range. They also have a really fantastic sample program. You can buy single samples, and I think they're just under $2, and they last for a good long while. Which I can say about the pressed foundation, this may be $28, but this will last you years. I mean, you use so little that it is cost effective over time. So yeah, so their sample program. I originally got one of their samples to test out, but you can buy like I think it's like 10 samples or something in a kit. I believe it's under $2 for a single sample, and then the kit, I'll have to check. I think it's $24, and there's 10 different shades in it. So it just depends on how what your needs are. Alima Pure is based in the Pacific Northwest. I believe they are in Washington or Oregon. And the website also has a store locator, so if there is a store near you that carries the product, you can find it and you can go there and test it out, which is what I did first. I found out that here in Los Angeles, the Detox Market carries this foundation, so I got some samples from them too. So anyway, yeah, I think that's all that I want to say about the product itself. And oh, one more thing. I keep thinking of things. They have, their website offers you tutorials and very specific instructions on how to pick out your color, so you can easily narrow it down to 1, 2, maybe 3 shades tops. And they also have a makeup artist that you can email and ask questions about, as well as blogs and videos and all sorts of things to help you in the application process. Which is a great segue to what I'm going to show you now, which is me actually applying this. So I'll stop talking and let's just show you. So I'm going to start by applying the Satin Matte Foundation. My color is Warm 5. Yeah, Warm 5. And when I first started working with this foundation, I was using this brush. This is the, hopefully you can see that. It's the It Cosmetics foundation brush, and this I think was my first mistake, because it was very hard to control the amount of product that was going on my face when I used this. So although I love this brush is so soft and wonderful. It's great for cream formula foundations and for the IT foundation that it came with, but it wasn't really working for the satin matte. So the mineral foundation I found works best if you have one of those rounded kabuki brushes. And I didn't have that, but what I do have is this teeny tiny baby buki that I have a ton of these that I got from Bare Minerals. But this actually works very well. I will even at some point get a larger kabuki brush, but for now I'm just going to use this one. And so it's pretty much, I'm sure you've seen how mineral powders work before, but I'm going to take a little bit here and just tap it. That's probably enough. Let's see if we can, there we go. I think that's enough to do my whole face. But I'm going to take just a little bit onto the buki brush and work it in just a little bit and then tap off any excess like that. And then the other trick is to press it into the skin. So that's what I'm going to start by doing first, is pressing it in and then buffing it. And you can see it's going on. It's starting to go on now. And I'm going to keep doing that around the other side. And this formula, like all mineral powders, you can, doesn't feel, it's weightless definitely on the skin. You can't feel it. But the reason that I ended up, because I got a trial size of this at first. I got a couple of sample sizes actually to figure out what my shade was. But the reason that I kept working with it is because the finish is so pretty. But if you put on too much, it will definitely highlight fine lines, pores, and wrinkles. I actually also talked to, I emailed the makeup artist at Alima Pure for some suggestions. And she said to make sure that your skin was well moisturized, of course, and that you give your moisturizer maybe 10 to 15 minutes to really soak in before you start working with this powder. So I did that. I used my Diva moisturizer, and then I put on a little extra, just a teeny tiny bit of marula oil because it's pretty dry here today. And I'm just checking, put a little bit more around the mouth. And then put on my sunscreen. Put on my sunscreen. And that seems to be a good preparation. It seems to give my skin just enough moisture, not too much. Okay, so I'm kind of liking the finish. I'll let you just look in the light. You can see it's a light coverage. I mean, you can keep building. Let me get I'm gonna look in the magnifying mirror here to see. Yeah, like right now, I would say I put on enough. In other words, if I was going to build more, I might put a little more around here, maybe a little more up there, but I'm going to leave that. And instead, I'm going to put on my concealer like I would normally, and then come back and look at the whole thing to see if I want to make any changes. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back after I put on my concealer. So I've got my concealer on, and whoops, I blend a little bit more here. And you can actually use, if you use a concealer brush, you can use this too. You can use the Alima Pure, and if you have a concealer brush, you can use the Alima Pure as a concealer. I wouldn't do it around fine lines, but you can just put a little on my finger. For example, you could just press it into like areas like that where you might want a little more coverage. See, but even when using my finger, you can see that gives me a little extra coverage in those spots. You know, you can do spot concealing with the foundation for sure, like I'm doing right now. And so, yes, I'm just blend that a little. And yeah, Beauty Blender, you can use it all over. So to soften, you know, if you have any areas where there's too much. But what's nice about this powder is, yes, it goes on sheer and it just gives you a nice light wash. And then if you don't really, I don't need setting powder with this. But what you can do is, let's say you want to give, you know, a little bit of a set, or a little bit more, you know, a little bit, if you want to, what am I trying to say? If you want to give it a nicer finish, like if you want to set your concealer or whatever, you can use this. I use the Alima Pure Powder with this big powder brush. I just put, get a little bit in the jar here, a little bit, just the tiniest bit on the brush like that, and then just kind of go over everything lightly. And that just kind of helps to set your concealer without really adding too much more product. Because the more product you add, the more likely you're going to start, it's going to start settling in lines or highlighting, you know, your pores or wrinkles and things like that. But yeah, so that's the finished look. And this is just a basic daytime run around town, do errands, you know, look that didn't take too much time, and it doesn't look too made up. All right, so I'm going to finish putting on my makeup now, and then I'll be right back to talk more about the product. Okay, so here's the finished product with all of my makeup. I'm wearing, my eyeshadows are from Silk Naturals, and the blush is actually an Alima Pure color called Honey Rose. And I will say this about the blushes, they are super pigmented. So you have to be really careful, otherwise it can go on, you know, it's very easy to apply too much when you're first working with them. But they do, you know, you can shear them out eventually. Speaking as someone who has applied too much from time to time, they do eventually shear out. And I was mentioning in the video about a concealer I was mentioning in the video about a concealer brush, and this is the one that what I was talking about. It's got, I forget where I got this, but it's it is called this is Essence. This is what is called a concealer brush, and it's just has a lot more fibers in it. So it's, you know, the bristles are packed a lot tighter. It's still soft, but it's easier to pack on the product where you need it to be. Okay, so I think that's all that I'm going to say about Alima Pure, except that I love this foundation and I wear it most days. Today I'm going to get my taxes done, so I thought, I'm not stressed. It's going to be fine. So I thought this was a nice, fresh, easy look to wear for, you know, taxes and grocery shopping. All right, I hope you all are having a great day. Take care, and I will talk to you again very soon. And of course, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye everybody. Talk to you soon.